You're tired, aren't you? Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kind that lives in your bones. The kind that follows you from one sunrise to the next. You've carried too many conversations that never understood you. Too many expectations that forgot you were human. Too many smiles that hurt when you wore them too long. Every day bites a little. Through screens, through schedules, through silence. And the venom is subtle. It teaches you to call survival peace. But tonight, you stop running because here, inside the quiet of Sleep Story's nest, you don't have to perform calm. You can finally become it. This is the snake within. Revenge through healing. A story about the kind of revenge that leaves no scars. The kind that turns pain into wisdom, anger into clarity, and exhaustion into rest. Let the world stay loud outside. Let messages go unanswered. Let thoughts lose their edge. You are not missing anything. You are arriving. And as the night stretches open, you'll meet the ancient teacher of transformation, a creature that never fears venom because it knows how to make medicine out of pain. The snake doesn't escape the world. It sheds it. It doesn't chase calm. It creates it. And tonight, it will teach you how. So lie down, let your breath fall like dust in the desert, and listen, because healing doesn't begin when you forget. It begins when you remember who you were before the noise. Morning isn't gentle anymore. It breaks open like glass, sharp, glittering, unavoidable. You wake not because you've rested, but because the world starts calling your name before you even remember who you are. Notifications blink like tiny red fangs. Every buzz a bite, every message a demand. You scroll through other people's mornings, smiles, success, opinions, pressure disguised as motivation, and something small and invisible starts moving through your veins. You don't notice it at first. It feels like focus, like urgency, like I should be doing more. But that's how venom always starts. It promises energy while stealing calm. By the time sunlight reaches your window, you're already defending yourself against a day that hasn't even begun. A text that sounds colder than it should. A task that replaces yesterday's effort as if it never existed. A silence from someone you hoped would understand. Tiny bites, none of them fatal, all of them cumulative. You tell yourself, it's fine, that everyone feels this way. That exhaustion is the new normal. But somewhere deep inside, something ancient starts whispering. A voice that isn't tired, just waiting. The hum of the phone fades, the air in the room thickens, and the edge between real and unreal begins to blur. You blink, and the floor beneath you isn't carpet anymore. It's sand, white, endless, shimmering in the heat of a sun that isn't from your world. You are standing in a desert made of silence, the kind that doesn't comfort, it confronts. And in that stillness, you hear it, a soft hiss, not of threat, but of recognition. From between the dunes, something moves, fluid, patient, deliberate, a body of light and shadow, skin reflecting every color you've ever hidden. The snake, it circles you once, not hunting, not testing, simply studying. Then it stops, eyes catching yours like a mirror, and suddenly you see your own reflection inside those eyes. The stress, the noise, the armor you've worn for too long. The snake doesn't flinch at your chaos. It understands it. You hear no voice, yet meaning fills the air. The world will always bite, but you decide what to let circulate. You stand there, the desert breathing quietly around you, and realize that this venom, this daily fatigue, this endless proving, it isn't killing you. It's only trapped, waiting to be transformed. The snake lowers its head to the sand and traces a perfect circle around you, a boundary, invisible, ancient, merciful. Inside it, the air changes, still, heavy, sacred. You understand the first lesson. Peace isn't the absence of venom. It's learning not to feed it. The snake watches. The horizon trembles with heat, and for the first time all day, you don't reach for your phone. You reach for quiet. The venom is still there, but now it has somewhere to go. The snake flicks its tongue, and the desert hums with a strange, familiar calm. The kind that doesn't beg for sleep, but builds it. And as the last sound of the waking world fades behind you, you know this isn't the end of the day. It's the beginning of your healing. You carry the circle of sand back into the waking world. The phone glows again. The noise returns. But something inside you has changed. You can hear it now. The hiss behind the hum. The pulse of every hidden demand. You move through the morning crowd, and the venom begins its familiar whisper. Prove your worth. Hurry. Agree. Smile. Each whisper tries to borrow your breath, but you remember the desert. You remember the circle the snake drew around you. The elevator fills with other hearts, beating too fast. One sighs, one frowns, one scrolls. You feel the heat of their pressure brushing against your skin, and for a second, it almost pulls you under. Then you pause, not in rebellion, in awareness. You inhale, as if the air belongs to you again. The venom has nowhere to run. At the desk, screens bloom like open mouths, requests, corrections, subtle cuts dressed as compliments. You type, you deliver, you endure. But every time a word lands sharp, you imagine the snake's eyes, steady, unblinking. You remember what it said without saying. Not every sound deserves to become blood. And with that memory, you begin the slow art of selection. You answer what matters. You release what doesn't. You start to realize that most of the world's fire burns only if you feed it oxygen. By afternoon, the ache in your chest is lighter, not because the world has changed, but because you no longer carry its weather inside your ribs. You've stopped being the hallway where other people's storms echo. You are becoming a threshold instead, open but guarded. The snake appears again in the corner of your mind, its coils moving with the same rhythm as your breath. It watches the day's poisons arrive, then watches them evaporate before they reach the heart. You don't need to fight them. You only need to see them. A voice in you finally understands. Stillness isn't weakness. It's immunity. Evening leans over the city. Lights shimmer like scattered scales. You walk home through the noise, untouched. The venom still exists, but now it travels around you, never through you. And in that small, invisible victory, you feel something close to peace. Not the fragile kind that hides, but the living kind that endures. The city falls quiet again, but inside you the hum continues. That faint vibration of thought that never stops. You can silence your phone, you can dim the lights, but you can't silence the voice that lives beneath your skin. The snake is still with you, unseen, but near. its body resting like a question at the edge of your mind. And as the night deepens, you feel the pull, a call to look inward, to face the reflection you've been avoiding. You've learned to protect yourself from other people's venom. But what about your own? The quiet doubts, the old regrets, the memories you keep touching even when they burn. You sit down in the stillness, and it forms a mirror before you, not of glass, not of water, but of breath and memory. It shimmers, trembling, waiting, and when you look into it, you don't see perfection. You see truth. You see every version of yourself that tried to be enough for everyone else. The one who smiled through fear, the one who forgave before healing, the one who said, "I'm fine," while quietly falling apart. The snake raises its head. Its reflection glows beside yours, steady, unashamed. It doesn't flinch at your flaws. It honors them, because every scar you see was once survival. Every habit you hate was once protection. Every silence you kept was once safety. The snake moves closer, its eyes glinting with a calm you can feel in your own chest. And in that calm, you understand you are not broken. You are layered, each layer a story, each story a skin. You can't destroy what hurt you by hating yourself for it. You can only outgrow it. The snake whispers without words. You cannot heal a wound by punishing the skin around it. Tears rise, not from sadness, but from recognition. It isn't grief, it's release. The moment you stop blaming yourself for the way you survived, you reach toward the mirror again. This time, the reflection doesn't accuse. It breathes. It becomes softer, almost luminous. You realize the reflection is not showing who you were. It's showing who you're becoming. The snake exhales, and the air shimmers. The mirror fades into the night, but its truth remains. You are no longer your own enemy, and when you stand, you feel lighter, not because the weight is gone, but because you've stopped dragging it behind you. The desert wind rises, carrying the first whisper of dawn. The snake glides ahead, and you follow, not out of fear, but faith, because for the first time in a long time, you trust the path that leads inward. You leave the mirror behind, but it doesn't disappear. It follows you in fragments, reflections on every surface of your mind. The air grows drier. Heat presses against your skin, like memory trying to return. The snake moves ahead, its body a streak of silver through the dust. Its pace neither slow nor hurried, just certain. The desert isn't empty. It's alive with everything you used to ignore. Wind carving the dunes, light bending through the haze, your own heartbeat echoing like a drum. Each step releases a soundless note, a rhythm you didn't know belonged to you. You feel the pull of the city still whispering somewhere far behind. The screens, the voices, the unfinished business. But the horizon stretches wider than regret, and the snake's path is forward. It doesn't look back, and something in you learns to do the same. When the wind rises, it carries 1,000 tiny knives of sand. You lift your arm to shield your face, and the snake turns, eyes bright as embers, saying without words, "Do not fear the storm that teaches you what you can endure." You lower your arm, you walk through it. Each grain of sand strikes like an old accusation, and each one falls away without leaving a mark. What once would have wounded now only polishes. Time stretches, loses its shape. Hunger, thirst, loneliness, all appear, all dissolve. You begin to realize the desert isn't punishing you, it's cleaning you. The snake stops beside a stone, half buried in gold dust. It coils around it, pressing its scales against the heat until the hiss softens into a hum. You sit beside it, and the silence grows dense, an ocean made of light. Inside that stillness, you hear the truth. You were never meant to outrun your noise. You were meant to exhaust it. The snake lifts its head. Its tongue flickers once, tasting the calm. Then it whispers inside your chest. Stillness is not the absence of motion. It is motion refined. You understand now. Peace is not passive. It's active restraint, chosen again and again. It's the art of holding fire without letting it burn the hand. The sun lowers. Shadows stretch like memories, reaching for forgiveness. You lie back, the sand cool beneath your spine. Every muscle unclenches. Every thought slows. You watch the first star climb the sky. Small, sure, untouchable. The snake settles near your shoulder. You can feel the slow rhythm of its breathing, the pulse of life, perfectly measured. For the first time, your heartbeat matches it. Steady, deliberate, calm. You close your eyes, and the desert breathes with you. The storm that began this journey has become a breeze. Tomorrow may bring more venom, more noise, more need. But tonight, within this infinite stillness, you have learned how to remain whole. The snake moves once more, circling you in a loose spiral. Not protection, recognition. You are no longer the one who fled from silence. You are the silence that no longer flees. The night stretches thin, the horizon bleeding from indigo into silver. You have walked far enough that even memory feels like sand. The snake glides ahead, leaving a line of light behind it, a path carved not for escape, but for release. You feel the weight of everything you have carried, names that no longer fit, promises made to keep others comfortable, versions of yourself that once protected you and now only press against your ribs. Each one clings like an old skin, familiar, heavy, outgrown. The snake stops at the crest of a dune and turns. Its scales shimmer with the colors of dawn, soft, merciful. It begins to move in slow circles, rubbing against the rough earth until the surface of its body splits. You watch as it slides free, leaving behind a transparent echo of itself. There is no pain, no drama, only precision, only grace. And you understand. You've been trying to heal by holding tighter, by polishing the masks that once saved you, by calling endurance peace. But peace does not cling, it sheds. You close your eyes. Inside you, layers loosen. The urge to prove, the guilt of resting, the noise that kept pretending to be purpose. They slip away one by one, quiet as breath leaving glass. For a moment you feel naked, uncertain, soft. Then the wind arrives, warm and forgiving, wrapping around the new skin that gleams beneath. The snake whispers inside your chest. Every skin you lose was once protection. Thank it, then let it fall. You exhale. The sand shifts under your palms. Something ancient leaves you with the sound of a sigh. You don't need to remember the shape of the old shell. The desert will keep its dust. You will keep the lesson. You look down at the cast-off layer of yourself. It glitters faintly before dissolving into the wind. There is no grief in it, only recognition. A chapter that knew its ending and was kind enough to finish. The snake lifts its head, eyes brighter now, lighter. Around you, the world has changed without moving. The dunes glow, the air hums, the sky feels closer. It's not the landscape that's different. It's you, stripped of noise, clean enough to see what has always been waiting. You rise, new skin touching new air. Every step feels quieter, sharper, true. The snake moves beside you, and you mirror its calm. You don't need to speak. The silence between you says everything. You have not lost anything. You have simply stopped carrying what was finished. And somewhere beyond the dunes, the first light of morning breaks across the sand, soft gold spilling over the horizon like forgiveness. The snake turns toward it, and you follow, because this is what shedding really means. Not death, not distance, rebirth, walking forward, lighter, clearer, whole. The desert cools as the night deepens. The wind has stopped moving, yet nothing feels frozen. Every grain of sand glows with the faint memory of the sun, tiny embers breathing under the moonlight. You sit in that glow, the snake beside you, and you understand the irony. You've walked through storms in silence, shed what no longer fit, and now the lesson waiting for you is not how to rest, but how to hold fire without burning. The snake moves closer to the fading warmth of a dying flame. It doesn't recoil. It hovers just close enough to feel the heat, its body poised, elegant, precise. You can feel the power of that control. Not suppression, not fear, but understanding. Fire as energy, not enemy. Inside you, another kind of fire flickers, the quiet anger that once made your thoughts race, the unspoken rage at the weight you carried in silence, the helplessness that dressed itself as patience. It's still there, small, glowing, asking to be seen. You close your eyes and see it clearly, a flame shaped like your own heart. Every unfair moment, every ignored effort, every misunderstood kindness, they all feed it. But tonight, you don't try to put it out. You watch it. You breathe with it. The snake's voice moves through you without sound. Fire is not healed by water. It is balanced by purpose. You let that settle. You imagine yourself standing in the middle of your own fire, not fighting it, not surrendering to it, simply holding it, steady. And the longer you stand there, the smaller it becomes, until it's not destruction anymore. It's direction. You think of all the times you gave your energy to things that never deserved it, the arguments you rehearsed, the people you tried to explain yourself to, the stories you told yourself just to make pain sound polite. Each memory is a spark, but instead of reigniting the old fire, you gather them one by one and feed them to the flame of clarity. The snake watches as your chest rises, each breath cooling the heat without extinguishing the light. Your anger doesn't vanish. It evolves. It becomes fuel, calm and focused, the power to act without being consumed. And in that moment, you understand why the snake never wastes motion. It knows when to strike and when to stay still. It knows that restraint is not weakness, it's precision. The desert wind stirs again, lifting a few embers into the night. They spiral upward, glowing briefly before fading into stars. You realize you are watching your own thoughts ascend, your old pain transforming into wisdom mid-air. The snake uncoils, its scales catching the firelight, and it whispers through the silence. True revenge is peace. True power is calm. You feel that truth move through you like warmth returning to the hands after cold. Every nerve, every muscle remembers how to be strong without tensing, how to be present without defending. The last ember dies, and yet the warmth remains, not from fire, but from understanding. It's the warmth of a body no longer at war with itself. The snake looks at you once more, and in its unblinking gaze, you see the reflection of your own calm, a still flame, steady and bright, burning quietly beneath the skin. You stand, and the desert moves with you, as if acknowledging the change. You are not waiting for peace anymore. You are peace, moving. The horizon fades to ash and silver. The warmth you carried from the flame cools into something quieter, heavier. The snake leads you toward a ridge of black rock, where the desert folds into darkness. You follow, feeling the shift, like walking from memory into dream. The air here is different. It doesn't sting, it listens. This is not a place you can see with eyes. It's a place you remember with your body. Every ache, every scar, every echo you tried to forget. The snake pauses at the entrance to a hollow carved into stone. It turns its head, and you know without words what this is. The Temple of Shadows, the house of everything you buried. You step inside. The walls pulse faintly, alive with the breath of your own past. Faces appear in the dark. Not ghosts, not people, but moments. The voice that called you too much, the silence that made you feel small, the choices that cost you parts of yourself you never got back. You want to turn away, but the snake moves forward. It doesn't attack the darkness. It simply glides through it, unharmed, and you realize these shadows cannot hurt what no longer hides from them. You reach out to touch one. It doesn't recoil. It feels warm, almost human. And when you whisper, "I forgive you," the shadow exhales and fades. The snake coils beside you, eyes glowing faintly. Its voice hums inside your pulse. You cannot destroy your darkness. You must teach it where to stand. One by one, the memories come. The betrayal that made you bitter. The rejection that carved self-doubt into your bones. The guilt that kept you apologizing for surviving. Each one rises, looks at you, and dissolves in the quiet. You don't fight them. You don't name them sins. You simply let them leave. The snake lifts its head toward the roof of the temple. Above, through a crack in the stone, the first light of dawn pierces through. Thin, pure, real. The shadows don't vanish. They bow. You understand. The parts of you that scared you were never evil. They were only lonely, and loneliness, when seen, becomes peace. The snake winds around your wrist, gentle as breath. Its scales are cool and alive. You can feel your pulse beating through them. Two rhythms merging, darkness and light, fire and calm, past and present. When you step out of the temple, the desert greets you with a new kind of quiet. Not empty, not waiting, but whole. The horizon looks wider because you no longer flinch at what you carry. The snake rests on your shoulder. Its tongue flickers once, tasting the wind, and you hear it say, without sound, "You have met your shadows. Now they will walk beside you, not behind you." You breathe, deep and slow. The temple stands behind you, glowing faintly in the dawn. It doesn't look like a prison anymore. It looks like a heart that learned how to hold both pain and peace. And as the sun lifts, you feel its warmth fall on your face like forgiveness. You are not the light. You are not the dark. You are the space that lets both exist. The sky has changed. What was once black is now painted with faint gold. The kind that doesn't blind, it heals. You walk out from the temple, the sand cool under your feet, and realize you have crossed something invisible behind you. The weight, the shadows, the storms. Before you, horizon, space, clarity. The snake glides beside you, its body reflecting the first rays of dawn like molten glass. Each movement leaves a trace of light that hangs in the air for a moment before fading, and you understand. The darkness you faced wasn't the opposite of light. It was the doorway to it. You breathe in the cold air, and it fills you with a kind of strength you've never felt before. Not adrenaline, not armor, but a calm that feels like truth. Every thought that once clawed for control now lies quiet, obedient, finally seen for what it is. Just noise. The snake stops and looks toward the rising sun. It doesn't worship, it observes, and you find yourself doing the same. You realize that what you're seeing isn't just morning. It's clarity made visible, the kind of clarity that doesn't promise an easier life, but offers something better, understanding. You look down and notice the reflection of light in the snake's eyes, and it hits you. That light isn't coming from the sky. It's coming from you. It's the residue of everything you've faced and refused to hate, the alchemy of your own survival. You remember every venomous day that tried to bend you, every time you chose silence instead of shouting, every time you stayed kind when it would have been easier to disappear. You thought those choices made you weaker. They didn't. They made you transparent enough for light to pass through. The snake coils gently at your feet. Its body pulses once, a heartbeat in rhythm with your own. Then you hear it, not as a sound, but as knowing. The world outside is not your test. It is your mirror. You turn your gaze to the distance, to the cities waiting, to the people, the noise, the ordinary life. It doesn't scare you anymore, because now you carry the eye of light within you, a vision that sees truth without anger, beauty without blindness, and power without noise. You blink, and the light doesn't fade. It only settles, like peace choosing to stay. You stand taller, not because you are trying, because you've stopped collapsing. The snake begins to move toward the valley below. Its body leaves no trail this time. The desert remembers the lesson without needing proof. You follow, each step a prayer that doesn't ask for anything, just thanks. Above you, the sun rises completely, washing the world clean. The light doesn't chase away the dark, it embraces it, and together they create the color of truth. The snake leads you down from the high dunes into the valley where the desert breathes again. Morning unfolds like a slow confession, light seeping into every shadow, making even the smallest stone gleam with truth. You can smell the new air, clean and cool, washed by everything you've released. The world you left behind is waiting, unchanged, but softer. The noise, the people, the endless demands, they will still be there. But the difference now is simple and immense. You're not returning as the same person who left. You've met your venom. You've faced your mirror. You've walked through fire and silence and shadow. Now, everything that once threatened to drown you moves at the edge of your vision, harmless, like dust around light. The snake pauses at the edge of the valley. Its tongue flickers, catching the scent of dawn. It turns toward you. No goodbye, no ceremony. Only that familiar stillness that means remember. You nod, understanding what words could never carry. The lessons weren't gifts from it. They were awakenings within you. You walk until the sand becomes earth, until the rhythm of your heartbeat finds the rhythm of ordinary life again. Voices return, distant at first, then closer. The sound of water, the shape of trees, a world that feels both new and remembered. You sit at the river's edge and watch the current. It doesn't rush, it simply moves, carrying everything that has served its time. You dip your hands into it, and the reflection that looks back is calm, clear, whole. The snake is nowhere to be seen, and yet its silence lives in your breath. Its wisdom coils softly in your bones. You understand now. It never leaves, because it was never separate. It was the voice beneath your fear, the calm beneath your anger, the strength beneath your stillness. You rise, the world hums, and you walk forward, light trailing behind your steps, the way dawn follows night. No noise, no weight, no war, only presence. You do not seek peace anymore. You are peace, the kind that no storm can claim, the kind that heals simply by existing. The day begins again, but this time, it begins inside you. And now, the desert is quiet. The snake has vanished into the folds of dawn. But its lesson remains, not as words, as rhythm. The rhythm of a breath that no longer rushes. The rhythm of a heart that no longer hides. You came here with the weight of the world inside you. Now, only stillness remains. The kind that doesn't demand silence, but offers it. When you wake, the world will still be loud, but you won't be pulled by it. You'll move through it the way light moves through glass. Clear, steady, untouched. So for now, let go. Let the story fade into the hum of your own heartbeat. Let peace rise like morning behind your closed eyes. You are not escaping. You are returning. Returning to yourself, to calm, to quiet power. Thank you for sharing this night here at Sleep Story's Nest, where every story ends in silence that heals. Good night.